Mike, what was your favourite, most influential track from the 70s in reggae terms?
Okay, tail end of the 70s, 79, 80, right on the boundary. I must say my favourite band was always Talisman from Bristol, but my favourite track was Bristol Rock by Black Roots, but written by Bunny Marrett.
What was the significance of that track, Bunny?
Well, you know, it's sort of historical connection with Bristol and, you know, its Caribbean counterparts, you know what I mean, and the history of slavery and how the city was in the past, you know what I mean, and coming across some history, which was mentioning that, you know what I mean, so I said, oh, this is a good topic for a song, you know what I mean, so I just set out to write the song, you know. It was Black Roots were just a band beginning to come together, you know what I mean, and so it was a period when the cultural transfusion, you know, was at the peak, and then we used to gather, everything started cultural, this place called the Inkworks, now known as Kumba, you know what I mean, so that where all the creative arts, it was intended for to become a place for the creative arts coming out of the community. You know what I mean? So that's where everything artistically really began, you know what I mean? From community point of view. So it was there and then, we were all gathered there and everything was artistic, you know. And some were learning music, playing music, others were into plays and whatever, you know what I mean?
You dance on it?
Yeah, and yeah, we got this group who by the name Economy, who did a lot of African dance there, you know. It was a cultural moment, you know what I mean, everything was cultural, you know what I mean, from all different angles.
So there was a lot of music around you at the time then? There's lots of music around you at the time?
Yeah, there's lots of music around, the diversity of music all around, you know what I'm saying.
So what was Bristol like to live in those days?
Well, a lot of people may look at Bristol and say it's a racist city as such, you know what I mean, but in my understanding of it, I think it's too educationally seated to be considered racist city. But my definition of it, it would be the masterpiece of English prejudice, because it's indeed a very prejudiced city. But, you know, everybody's prejudiced. It's a natural thing, you know what I mean. I am prejudiced, you know what I mean, not maybe in the human fact, but I may be prejudiced against certain things, you know what I mean, certain food, you know what I mean. So that's a sense of prejudice as far as I'm concerned, you know what I mean. So that's it, you know.
Do you think that's something that's changed over the decades?
Well, it's changed over the years, you know. It's changed quite a lot, you know. In some sense that it's still a masterpiece of race relations. And there were much venues in the early days, you know. The first venue that came along in the early years when we came to England, there was nothing, you know, like we were living in a no man's land. You know, there was no anything set up for us. So we got to find a world within the world, and it started with the sound system. Understand what I mean? That's how the first type of entertainment we had for ourselves. We had no clubs to play, it was sellers like these. You know what I mean? It was quite unhealthy at the time more than they are now. Nothing was really provided for us.
Yeah. Speaking to Mike earlier, also, we talked about how the reggae at the time and the punk became very intertwined almost, and she had a lot of fans. Do you think that influenced the development of the reggae? Or how do you feel about that relationship?
Well, it helped to take reggae forward in the commercial world and take it to the English audience. So I mean, the punk period and this like helped to advertise music more, make reggae become more accepted. You know what I mean?
Which bands specifically?
Well, you got bands like Boy George, you know what I mean, and all them lads, you know what I mean, who first break out into reggae.
Misty and Roots were big on the Misty and Roots were big on the festival scene and part of the punk festivals. They were like the People Unite label.
And Aswad and them bands too, you know.
Steel Pulse.
Steel Pulse, you know. They were on the carnival scene, you know, this more so than anything else, you know. So in the past, we never get a chance commercially to do anything with our music. You know, because, you know, the radio station very seldom play that.
Why not?
Well, I've got a clue. You know, I'm still asking that question myself, you know. Why don't reggae music get played on the radio, you know? And so therefore, until this present station comes in along, before that anyway, the first commercial radio station, which was called Radio West, that came to Bristol, but I had the opportunity to do what they call a specialist program on that show, where I was presenting reggae music during the time of the Falkland War, so you couldn't say much, you know what I mean, you know, because you were restricted, you know, from saying anything. So, you know, I just let the music do the talking. You know, I used to present the music in a way where it tells a story. And so you could just follow the music without understanding all that is being said from how the music was presented. You understand what I mean? So I did that for 9 months until, you know, well, that was what I really wanted to do, because, you know, I was born for music. I wasn't born for anything else, you know. Nothing was going to stop me from playing music, you know what I'm saying? I met Marty here in England, right here in Bristol.
What was that like?
I met him at the Bamboo Club, and I met him at the Coast and All, you know. And I can remember he saying, we were standing up, some other Rastaman on my side, he said, well, Bristol is the first place he came and felt like he was in Jamaica. You know what I mean?
Why do you think that was?
And because of the atmosphere, see, you know, once upon a time, the city was more, from the Caribbean point of view, more Jamaicanized. More so than it is now, you know what I mean, because the era has changed, you know. So, and with this generation now, it's not a communal thing anymore, it's an urbanization thing now, you know. So people are spreading out now, you know, it's not, you know, like with the older generation who came from the parishes mostly. Because a lot of people don't understand that the urban and rural difference between that, the Jamaican growth and development, here they've got that, you know. And once upon a time now, say, if you were looking for a Jamaica in England, back in the 70s and 80s there, you would find it in Bristol. And if you were looking for a trench town in England, you would find it in St. Paul. Not, you know, not from the crime and violence point of view, but in an instance, say, where the urban and the rural meets, like it does in Jamaica in those areas, you know, because people migrate from the country and they stop in those areas.
Because the project is called Dubplate to Dubstep, what is your definition of a dubplate?
My definition of a dubplate, you know what I mean, is when music was being made on these, what do you call it, cutting machines, you know what I mean, where they used to take one off here and put, you know, that's where dub plate comes in, you know, but dub itself, rather music, when it's originated, it's something that's originated between Scratchberry and King Tubby. And I think once called Prince Jammy as well, you know, because they were the ones who started improvising on the music, and taking out the voices, you know, and taking out the rhythm, and dropping in things, and, you know, using different sound effects, you know, into the music, man, you know. So that's what I know dub is, you know. And what this dubstep now and things like that, but I wouldn't know much about that. That's all about it. Anyway, you know what I mean? That presume it's something now which is a part of this younger generation, you know what I mean? I'm waiting for them to explain it to me.
Did you like it? Did you like it?
Well, some of it, you know what I mean? I can understand some of it, you know what I mean? I just can't follow it, you know what I mean? I don't know where it's at.